The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Darnold back on 1st and 10. Fires and picked off! Joe Schobert got it! Is this how it feels? Is this how it feels to win? Darnold in the shotgun. 2 receivers right, 2 left. The running back is Crowell. 18 seconds left. He's got the snap. Back to pass. Up in the pocket, shooting it long and deep, and it's picked off! They got it! Terrence Mitchell's got it! And it's all over here now! They can't take it away anymore! 11 seconds left to go! Mitchell takes the football. He's going to run it down to the best fans, the most patient fans in the league, right to the dog pound. Up and in he goes! The Browns are going to win.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Los Angeles. Are we just we're gonna do this right out of the gate? Okay, let's go. Mike, I'm feeling for
Mike,
you, bro. I really am.
Mike, again, I don't want to be a hag or a nag about this, but rent for the month paid to the owner of Stan Kroenke, Kroenke Sports and Prizes.
It's the check's in the mail.
Oh, good. Nicely done, Mike. Nicely done. Very nice.
Seriously, I don't think I've ever heard of a more brutal sports taunt than pay your rent.
It's a beauty, isn't it?
As a Chargers fan, what am I supposed to say to that?
Right. Well, I think you said the perfect...
All I can go is be like, yeah.
I think you had the perfect response with the checks in the mail.
Yeah. I mean, that's all I can do, really.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I think the Chargers, they're a better team. I mean, the Rams are just really, really, really good.
Yeah, no,
the Chargers
aren't a bad team, honestly.
The Chargers did not completely prolapse out there, and I suppose that's a victory.
But I did. Oh, how fucking delicious it was to see the Chargers miss a kick in person. That was.
I mean, look, if you're going to go see the Chargers live, you might as well get the full Chargers experience. So, a missed field goal is just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, seeing the Chargers miss a field goal in person is not seeing the Chargers miss a field goal in person. It would be like going to Yankee Stadium and not seeing them in the pin. Not the authentic thing. Well, like the Rams.
It's like going to see Kiss without makeup.
Exactly.
Right.
The Rams score their first touchdown, and the Chargers come back and they match with the touchdown. I said, all right, they're going to give us a game here. This might be fun. And then they missed the extra point. And I was just like, all right, I guess we're going to have that game, and that's okay too. Because the Chargers, the Rams were the better team. The Chargers were good. The offense was very efficient, but they just could never catch up. The entire time.
Phillip Rivers is a good quarterback. I keep saying that. I will go to my grave defending the position that Phillip Rivers is like a legitimately good, like maybe even, dare I say, elite NFL quarterback.
I truly believe
it's just been squandered. Like everything, like his career has been squandered by this fucking team, and I don't get how does a team have this much bad luck with kickers like this consistently?
I gotta find the article because Bill Plaschke wrote a great.
While you're doing that,
let me get with a line that
seriously, Greg, we have the Browns QB jersey. We could have a Chargers kicking jersey.
Oh, absolutely. And I was just going to say that were it not for the fact that they are in such a screwed up stadium situation and in a town they don't belong in, I would probably rank the Chargers at least the third best team in the AFC right now. I think they're that talented, but as I've said before...
also the AFC is kind of garbage.
So. Still, as I said before, this whole thing with them constantly being on the road, even when they're at home, it just gets to the players. And this is what happens. You miss kicks and things that wouldn't probably be as big a deal if they were still in San Diego. They were a pretty big deal in San Diego, too, but the whole thing is just a farce now because of the whole situation. They should have never come to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And if you saw that stadium yesterday, and I did, I saw pictures that Zach put up. I watched the game. Oh, my God. I mean, there is no reason for the Chargers to be there. Right. It was full, and it was 99% Rams fans.
No, that's a lie. I would say it's 70-30.
Was it really 30% Charger fans, you think?
There were a lot of Charger fans. Like,
how many of them from LA though do you think, or how many from San Diego that just came up?
That's what the question is, and there's two theories about it too. Is that the reason that you don't see a bunch of Charger, like why you saw more at the Rams game than you did at Charger games, is just the ticket prices. Like it's ridiculous, the price points between what you pay for at a Charger game versus Ram game. So the Ram tickets I got 14 rows up from the end zone. I did get a kind of a deal. They were less than some of the other tickets in the area. I don't know why this person was selling them for less, but hey, $58 a person to sit 14 rows from the end zone.
That's not bad.
Whereas that same ticket at the Charger game, guaranteed is $250.
Because they've only got 27,000 seats to sell there, so they have to find a way to make money.
The Rams got the full 70,000 in the building for that game.
How far is the Coliseum in relation to San Diego as opposed to the Galaxy Stadium that they play in?
The Galaxy
StubHub Center.
Or StubHub Center.
StubHub Center is about 30 minutes down the 405 from the Coliseum.
North, south?
Technically, Carson is closer to San Diego, but it's if you're driving that far, it's negligible. Like,
right?
What's another 30 minutes?
Right?
Or if you're taking the train, same thing.
Whatever the case,
and really, the Coliseum is probably more accessible to people from San Diego because you can take the train up from San Diego to Union Station, hop right on the metro lines to the Coliseum.
Right.
Whereas, like, you can take the train to roughly near Carson, and I think there's a shuttle that goes from the nearest metro station to the stadium, but it's not right there. Like it is
if the Chargers were smart, they'd brand that shit like the Charger shuttle.
I think they did. I think they throw some lightning.
You put on a big fucking goofy football helmet on the fucking bus and have lightning bolt on
like
it.
those old bullpen cars from the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
Baseball.
Exactly.
So I found the Plaschke column. He had a lot of great lines in it, but I think the one that stood out to me in regards to the character of the two franchises, the game wasn't so much a metaphor for two franchises who have headed in different directions since this wasn't so much a game as it was a metaphor for two franchises who have headed in different directions since becoming neighbors before last season. The Rams continue to grow roots while the Chargers continue to drift. The Rams are gaining steam while the Chargers keep fighting ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts as in missing kicks, being the same old sorry Chargers that they always are, instead of the Rams who come in as the new thing in town. And yeah, that first season was garbage, but they have turned it around in such a big way in just a season and a half, roughly. They've become ingrained in the city just as much as they were before.
Don't you think, though, that even if the Rams... Let's reverse the situations and say that it's the Chargers that are 3-0 right now, stomping the shit out of everybody, and the Rams are struggling. I still don't see the Chargers as being the number one team in LA.
No, because of the situation they're in.
Yeah.
They
just never should have left San Diego. I mean, I don't know what else I could say from my own position other than that.
As I was kind of milling around with Charger fans all day, what I got the sense is, if the Chargers weren't playing in Carson,
okay,
if they were able to play in the Rose Bowl, if they were able to add another team to the Coliseum, although that would make the field would be hell after a while.
Right.
But say where they would be able to play in the Rose Bowl at the very least. It's not downtown LA like the Coliseum is, but it's still a traditional football stadium.
The Rose Bowl's probably. The Rose Bowl is probably one of the most famous football stadiums in the world. And there they would share the exact same color scheme with the UCLA, so that they wouldn't have to mess around with too much. But if they were able to do that, I think
I think the Chargers would be a little bit more accepted. But now it's kind of like, well, you were San Diego's team. We didn't want you. Haha, you're playing in a soccer stadium that's getting sold out by opposing fans. Haha, look at you, you suck. And
I mean,
so
that's
there's more hope in the franchise that if they were at least playing in a normal football stadium, they could say, yeah, all right, they're at least normal in that regard. But when you add the soccer stadium aspect on it, it's just like, yeah, look at you, you're a joke.
So then there is a little bit of hope that when the new stadium opens, they may actually do a little bit better then.
I would say I've softened on that a little bit. I think there is a little hope, but I think the problem is that's still 2 years away.
Yeah.
And so the Rams are going to keep building and building and building and the other thing that this game showed, whether it was on the field, in the stands, in the way the game was treated, just generally speaking, by the public, by the media, by everybody else, the Rams are Los Angeles' football team, and the Chargers will be forever the Clippers.
Okay, I wanted to touch on that. Well, first of all, I wanted to say this one saving grace was that this wasn't in the StubHub Center, because that's all that fucking needed to happen was to have the StubHub Center taken over by Rams fans.
And that would have happened for sure.
Yeah. And so, like, but aside from that, like, okay, I said this on the CCSLC boards. I'll say it here. Like, people who become Clippers fans know what they're getting into. You sign up to be a Clippers fan. You know what the score is. You know what the deal is. I never asked for this. This just happened.
When you said that, I do feel for the Chargers fans in general, because they're getting a lot of shit for something that it's not their fault. Like, this is Dean Spanos' fault.
Yeah.
And everyone is going to say, yeah, we all hate Dean Spanos as much as you do too. Like, that's what picture I'll put.
In retrospect,
the Chargers fans bear the brunt of it, unfortunately.
In retrospect, this has been like the culmination of every stupid Dean decision. Like, you go back to like the 90s and like you could trace every stupid Dean decision, and it all kind of inevitably builds up to this. Like, he fired a coach after going 14-2. What's next? Oh, he just moved the team to Los Angeles for no reason. Okay. Like, it's a slow but steady escalation of Dean being an idiot that just inevitably leads here.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame, because I do think they're a talented team. But their situation just makes it such that it's very difficult for them to ever get any kind of a momentum going.
My only hope,
not in a game, I'm saying, but in overall as a team, where a routine, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
My only hope, I've given up on the AFC West title because Kansas City is probably winning that. But I can still hope for a wild card spot, assuming the Broncos come back down to earth.
And they will.
Oh, dude. Watching the rest of the AFC, if the Chargers don't make the playoffs, then you have a much bigger issue on your hands. Like, there's no reason that team was good enough. If they weren't playing the Rams, if they put that same effort against any other team in the league, they'd probably beat them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I watched the game.
I just wanted to say I loved how about a year ago the Chargers and Rams had like a practice scrimmage.
Yeah.
And the Rams played the song "Why Can't We Be Friends?"
Yeah, well, it's funny. So like the way the Rams treated it in the stadium, there wasn't a whole lot of fanfare of like, "We're LA, we're gonna beat you, battle for LA." That wasn't the vibe. The whole thing, like the only thing the Rams did to, as a game day experience, aside from the actual football being played. The only subtle thing they did was when the Rams would get a first down, it's first down Los Angeles touchdown, and first down Chargers touchdown. They did, and the hashtag for the game that they were using was LAC versus LA, not LAC LAR, LAC versus LA, and they were just very subtly saying like, yeah, we're the LA team, no big deal.
Well, even you guys...
We're not going to make a big deal about it, and this is just what it is.
I don't know. Mike, you might remember when the Rams were still in Los Angeles. I don't know.
Like, vaguely.
But I'm sure, Zach, you have no memory of it. that
they left when I was 5, so not really.
But
and even then, they were playing in Anaheim and being run to the ground. So
the point I'm trying to make, though, is that even with that, you guys still had no issue with them going back to Los Angeles, because even though you weren't aware of them as the Los Angeles Rams, you knew that it made perfect sense for them to become the Los Angeles Rams again, because they had that much of a history where had they moved to San Antonio, it wouldn't have had the same results, obviously. And that's my point. The Chargers don't have that historical connection. Yes, they were there for a year in 1960, but it's always going to be, and we've been over this a million times, and we can just say this and move on, but it's always going to be the Rams in Los Angeles, because that's the way it's always been since 1950, whenever they left Cleveland. So there is no, I don't see it being any better than a 70-30, I think, that's a really nice split for the Chargers. I'd be happy if I could get that if I were them.
Yeah, there was plenty of powder blue. It wasn't overwhelming, but it was like when the Chargers would score a touchdown, it's like, okay, I see you, I notice you, you're here.
But let's talk about the teams and the actual game on the field. Your Los Angeles Rams are some seriously badass MFers.
Yes.
What can't that team do?
Offense is still chugging. Jared Goff has really transformed. He made some truly impressive throws against the Chargers. Things, people kind of harped on him. The degradation of the Rams offense was, people would point at Jared Goff, say, well, yep, that's the guy that's going to screw you guys over. And he's a system quarterback, and this is all McVay's doing. Sure, you could put a quarterback in a system, but the quarterback still has to make the throws. And he made some tight window throws yesterday, which were great.
Which, by the way, has always been my defense of Tom Brady, but
yeah.
That he is a system quarterback, or that he isn't?
No. That even this is off topic, but basically just that people always say, "Oh, Tom Brady's not that good. He's just a product of Belichick's system," and it's like, well, maybe, but he still had to, make the plays.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
like a system quarterback would be Matt Castle, but Matt Castle's not leading the Patriots to multiple Super Bowls. Yeah.
Well, he never got a fair chance. No, I'm kidding.
True.
I'm kidding.
True.
I just think that the Rams
were great, and then the thing on top of it was, again, best special teams in the fucking league. That's the thing I love about this team so much. Is and this goes back to even their days in St. Louis. They've always been good at special teams, and people forget how important that is until you're only up by a touchdown. The offense is having a problem, and then you block a punt in the end zone.
Do you know how many fucking Chargers playoff losses I've watched off of fucked up kicks? I know the value.
Believe me, if there are two fans in the NFL that know how important special teams are, it's Mike and I. Believe me.
It's just things like that, like a block punt and a missed field goal, can change the momentum of a game like that. And those two plays went from being like, oh man, the Chargers could, if they got to stop here and mount something, they could take the lead, and all of a sudden the Rams were up by 2 touchdowns. And that's just the way it was the rest of the day, because the Rams weren't being stopped, and the Chargers just couldn't do enough to get over the hump.
I think the Rams are clearly the best team in the NFL, without question.
The only thing that comes out of the game that is a little concerning is you have the two key cornerbacks they brought in the offseason, Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters, both go out with injuries. I think Aqib Talib's out for a month with like a high ankle sprain, and then Marcus Peters out a couple weeks with an ankle thing, or a calf strain. And they'll be back in a couple weeks. But even still, the backup defenders did their job, and they still have all that beef up front. Which, to be honest, the defensive line of the Rams hasn't really made its huge impact yet this season, and that is kind of concerning. But also, it gives me a little, is also heartening in a way to say, like, well, this defense hasn't even played to the most of its capabilities yet. It's been really good, but they still haven't let all the weapons kind of out of the toolbox.
Well, to be fair, they haven't had to.
No, that's true too. Yeah.
It was close for a half in the opening game against Oakland. What are they averaging? 39 points a game right now?
Something like that, yeah. And they hadn't allowed a passing touchdown until the Chargers' first touchdown. The Rams and Cardinals weren't, or the Raiders and Cardinals weren't true tests for this team. I thought the Chargers were, and while the defense didn't dominate in the way that I would have liked to see them do. They did enough, and you got the punt block, and the offense was still operating a high clip, and that was good. And it sucks. It kind of sucks that the Vikings are coming off of that weird Bills game now. So the Rams are hosting the Vikings on Thursday now, and one, it's a Thursday. Two, the Vikings are coming off a weird game. The Rams are a little bit injured. While this could have been one of those make a statement in the NFC games, it still is in a way, but not in the same way that it could have been had they both been 3-0, and not to mention the Vikings tie that was in there too. So this game is not as much of a NFC showdown as much as it would have been.
Yeah, but if I were you, I'd be happy about that.
Yeah.
I don't think the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are as good as we thought they were, because first off, the Packers aren't good, and I think they've proven that at this point. It's just, we talked about every week. First week it was Overreaction Monday, then last week it was Overcorrection Monday. This week is I don't have a fucking idea Monday. What's going on in this league?
Look, you live by Kirk Cousins, you die by Kirk Cousins, all right?
The Vikings were 17-point favorites in that game.
They lost by 21 points.
And I watched part of it.
Bills!
I watched part of it, and it wasn't a fluke. The Bills kicked their ass. Simple as that. Just absolutely kicked their ass.
The team that we all had pegged as a possible 0-16.
Yeah, but then I started thinking about that while we're talking about this game for a second. Okay, they lost Tyrod Taylor last year, and I don't know who else from last year's team is gone, but they were 9-7. Now, granted, they weren't a great team, but I started thinking about it, and I thought, if Josh Allen can play halfway decent, and they've still got the bulk of the roster they had last year, maybe they aren't. I don't think they're going to be anything more than 6-10 at best, but maybe they aren't 0-16 bad like we thought they were, is all I'm saying. I don't think that all of a sudden I'm going, oh, my God, the Bills are playoff contenders, but maybe with Allen playing halfway decent, they won't be as terrible as we initially thought.
Yeah, I think the Bills' performance in that game too was a lot of, people were 17-point underdogs. People think we're garbage. We had a guy quit on us halfway through the game.
Yeah,
we're a joke. Let's go show everybody that we're a professional football team and give it our best shot. And the Vikings are coming off of that weird tie.
They've got a tie, and they're looking right past a terrible Bills team to a huge matchup they've got with one of the best teams in the NFC on a short week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a weird game that I think in 5 weeks we can throw that away.
Oh, definitely.
But nice for the Bills to show that. Again, you look at a game like that and you wonder just how the Browns did this. You win games by accident sometimes. But
yeah.
Not the Browns.
Well.
Until Thursday night.
Wow, that was.
You called it. You called it.
I did.
You called it, Greg.
How was your emotions, Greg?
I did. How were my what?
How were my emotions? Walk us through it.
My emotions were pretty simple. I was frustrated as all hell in the first half because the offense was so inept. And then the second half, I thought, I have not seen this team look like this since 1994. And that's the God's honest truth. That was the best they have looked since Bill Belichick led them to the playoffs in 1994. That was my thought. Was I all giddy and jumping through the roof and all that? No, because I kind of expected them to win this game. But I was very happy because I finally saw the team that I've been waiting to see since they came back in 99. I think that for once, they're finally on the right track. And it all comes down to whether or not Baker Mayfield's legit.
So question, how much should we hate Baker Mayfield for looking at his phone? Because I hear that this is an inexcusable sin and he needs to be shamed.
I'm the age of most of the people that are making the complaints about this. I didn't even give it a second thought. He's a 23-year-old kid. That's what they do. And who was it pointed out that he had just won his first NFL game? He was probably getting texts of, congratulatory texts.
I think it was a friend of the show, McCarthy.
Right. Yeah. Getting all these texts from people and stuff. Of course he's looking. What was he supposed to do? Mm-hmm. I don't even know what the big deal is. I can't believe that became a thing. I cannot believe it.
He might as well be Jake Cutler.
Right. I mean, he should have just fired up a cigarette right there, right?
Yeah.
I don't get it at all. I don't understand it. But, the Browns, I just think that they're heading in the right direction finally. I was really excited Thursday. I thought, oh my God, look at Mayfield. And then I had to kind of tap the brakes a little bit. And remember, he's still a rookie quarterback, and he's not going to play like that every single game. The big test is Oakland. If they can be competitive and play a good game against Oakland, win or lose, I think that will give me the answer I'm looking for. But all I've wanted from this team from the start, be headed somewhere good. I think they are. Now, that defense is legitimately good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Be fun to watch, which they hadn't been, and now they are a little bit. And be competitive. That's all I've asked for. And I think we finally, at long last, after 19 seasons, we're finally taking a step in that direction. That's the way I feel about it. It was great to win, but I thought there's more to do. There's still a lot of work to be done, but thank God that monkey's off their back finally.
But still have yet to win a game on a Sunday in 3 years.
Well, hopefully they take care of that this week. Hopefully.
So how hungover was the city of Cleveland, considering all the free beer that was flowing?
Well, by the look of the bars that they were showing that had these coolers, really everybody only got about one beer each before they were empty.
I thought they were like floor-to-ceiling coolers.
No.
And they were like mini fridges.
Yeah, basically.
Oh,
but they were all pretty bomb to begin with, so I'm sure they were.
Bud Light. It's not exactly like.
I thought Cleveland. I thought Cleveland acquitted itself pretty well, all things considered. And what I was really most impressed by was that the team didn't flip out after winning the game. They didn't act like they just won the Super Bowl or a playoff game. They were just very nonchalant about it, just very businesslike. And I thought that's a very good sign because that means they expect to do this again. This wasn't like a fluke. Like when they beat, no offense, Mike, when they beat the Chargers for their win before this, they ran out the field like they just kicked the field goal to win the Super Bowl or whatever, and then I didn't see any of that in this game.
Well, when they were doing that, I think they were avoiding the 0-16 season. So I think that's different. Had this happened later in the year, you might have seen the same thing. But because it's only week 3, and because they were in both of those 2 games they already lost, this was like, okay, finally. Well, right. But those were 2 games they should have won, and now it's kind of like, all right, good. Finally did that. Now but they still could have had the freak out because even though it was still early in the season, they still had the albatross around their neck where they could have, it's finally over. But I thought everybody handled it pretty well. I can't remember the last time I went into a Browns game expecting them to win, but I would have been disappointed had they lost that game Thursday night because they're just, like I said, the defense I believe is legitimately good. They're already just 2 takeaways short of their entire total for last season. So that's something that I think is really a good step in the right direction. I don't know. Mayfield looked really good, and then I started thinking back, okay, of all the 30 quarterbacks it's been now, did Brady Quinn ever have a game like that? I'm trying to remember. Maybe he did. I don't recall one. Who are some of the other quarterbacks that they drafted? Brandon Weeden. I never saw. Derek Anderson.
Anderson, but... this is the first time where I feel like there's a foundation there. Like even when they went 10-6 that one year, it didn't feel like there was anything other than we just won some games. This feels like there's actually they've actually built something this time. I'm just glad it's over. It's like they're just a normal football team again now.
Are you concerned about Sam Darnold?
Nah, not really.
After that, well, I don't know about concerned, but like after that first game where like there was just so much fanfare, and he did get the couple touchdowns, even though he was kind of still middle of the road. The last 2 games, he's been middle of the road, but they haven't really produced. He hasn't thrown a touchdown.
Who's he played the last 2 games, though?
The Dolphins and the Browns.
I haven't seen enough of the Dolphins to say one way or the other, but the Browns, looking back...
Are the Dolphins undefeated?
Yes, they are, believe it or not.
They're 3-0, but, I mean, they played the Titans.
Yeah.
And they played the Jets, and they played the Raiders.
But in fairness to Darnold... If you look at it, I mean, look at that Browns defense. They played Roethlisberger and shut him down pretty well. They did a very good job against Drew Brees in New Orleans. It's a good defense, so I can't really say that I'm too worried about Darnold yet. Now, if he goes out and, say, faces some cupcake defense and has those kind of problems, then I'd get concerned. But I'm not ready to say the Browns are completely legit, but that defense is legit. It's very good.
I think the other thing with the Browns, I'm glad that even though Tyrod Taylor passed his concussion protocol, I am kind of happy that instead of just saying, okay, good job, Baker, now back to the bench, they're like, you know what? you showed it. You showed that you're worth it. We're going to put you back out there. You're the starter.
Yeah.
This week. I'm glad they did that rather than just like, all right, good job, back to the bench.
Well, I think people were concerned that's what was going to happen after Hugh Jackson's press conference on Thursday night. But Mary Kay Cabot, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's a pretty well-known beat writer around here that covers the Browns. And she said he was not going to go out there after Tyrod Taylor had a concussion. And after that game, go, oh, and by the way, you also lost your job and named Mayfield the starter right there on Thursday night. So I thought that was a pretty classy move by Hugh Jackson to be non-committal about it. And to find out the reasoning why, I thought, okay, that's not a bad reason to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What did you guys watched it, right? Do you think that, am I crazy? Or do they look like they've actually taken the first steps to putting it back together, maybe being a competitive football team?
Yeah. No, I think they're taking steps for sure.
It's certainly a move in the right direction. And again, you could make the argument that they should have won, the 2 games they were in. So, I mean, is this? And there's all kinds of variables there. I mean, should they be a 3-0 team? Yeah, but it's 3-0 in this AFC. So does that really mean you're good? But still, it's all relative. I don't know. It's weird, but I wouldn't say the Browns are a good team, but they are an improving team, and that's really all they need to be. So. And
I think the other thing with the Browns, and again, it's only week 3. Do you remember when they had that sneaky 6-9 season? And people were like, was it the Johnny Manziel year that they went 6-9? And it's like, oh, well, hey, the Browns are kind of feisty.
No, that wasn't. I know the season you're talking about. They actually started out the season, I think, 7-4. And
no. This wasn't even that year. This was like relatively recent. And people were like, oh, the Browns might be a little sneaky.
Yeah,
watch out for them. And then they went into this tailspin.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I've seen all of this. I've watched all of it for 19 years, and even when stuff like that was happening, where they were 6-9 and people, I said, no, it's not there. They don't have it. They don't have it yet. A lot of this is just, luck, playing the right teams. But I never felt at any point that it was built on anything. Now I really do. And again, it's the first time. And it wasn't because some rookie quarterback came out and played well for a half. I've been saying it from after game 1 that this defense is legitimately good. And I really feel like they have finally pieced it together and made the right moves, gotten some real players. I mean, that Denzel Ward pick at 4, people ridiculed them for that, and that kid can flat out play. And I just think this is the first time since I've seen them back that I don't think it's some sort of an illusion. I think they might legitimately be headed in the right direction. That's where I'm at on it.
The Browns broke their winless streak. The Bills have at the very least staved off 0-16. Let's talk about our last contender for a winless season, the Arizona Football Cardinals.
Wow, that's a bad team.
This is just one of those years where it sucks to be Mike watching the NFL.
Well, they were up 14-0.
I know. I was excited for a while.
That was exciting.
They got positive yardage on offense.
I'm confused. So they were up 14-0 with Sam Bradford. Did Bradford get injured?
No.
No, he just became Sam Bradford again. If you're going to ask why they put Rosen in.
Right. They put Rosen in. They put Rosen in because, quote, the team needed a spark.
And it did. There's no question about it.
They were up 14-0. Both those touchdowns by Sam Bradford. Apparently they needed a spark. Put in Rosen. He didn't do anything. Threw a pick on his first play.
Oh, yeah, another one. Pick return for a touchdown that was called back.
Right. And then they name him the starter for this week? Based on what?
I don't know how they scored the 2 touchdowns, but what I saw of Bradford was terrible. And they put Rosen in, I think, with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter after the Bears had taken the lead. I mean, Rosen was really kind of thrown to the dogs here. That Bears defense is pretty tough. Yeah. I don't think he had any intention of playing today, and I don't necessarily know that he's a good quarterback. I mean, you can't really make a judgment on 5 minutes of a fourth quarter game, but
right. But I'm not saying that whether he was good or bad. It's just like, did he really show you guys? Like, did he really show the Cardinals coaching staff something that said, "Oh yeah, we're going to go with you from now on"? Like, he didn't do anything.
Well, it's because Bradford was so inept in the second half. I got my NFL Sunday ticket back, so I was able to start flipping through and watching all the games again. And Bradford was just terrible. I mean, what, they have a 14-0 lead at halftime, right?
Yeah.
And after that, it was, I mean, I'm telling you, Zach, I don't know if I've seen worst football.
Oh,
this was like Cleveland Browns last year level football. That was god awful.
I saw the Arizona Cardinals get shut out in person this year. I'll have you know. I know what Sam Bradford looks like live. It's not good. Like, no, I agree that he's not any long-term solution. He probably shouldn't even be a current-term solution. I guess I don't mind Josh Rosen being in there, but like, I don't know if there's anything in the first 3 weeks that would make you say one way or the other that, yeah, sure, we have to go with Josh Rosen now, other than like, why didn't you do this at the beginning of the year if you're going to do this now?
Well, that's always the question.
You're 2.5 games in and you say, okay, well, Sam Bradford's not good enough. You didn't know that for 6 months?
Because everyone's still clinging to the stupid idea that you need to sit a rookie quarterback when there have been plenty of cases that have proven that no, if you've got a talented guy out of college, he can play. You don't have to sit these guys, and that's an old way of thinking, and it's been disproven. But there are some teams, and the Cardinals are one of them, that just kind of refuse to accept that.
I think the other thing that's really just not good about the Cardinals, they have a brand new coaching staff, defensive coordinator from Carolina and all that. That is not a good coaching staff.
No.
They don't know what they're doing.
No.
They like, their game plans are shoddy. Their decisions in game are shoddy.
Well,
their adjustments are bad.
If they knew what they were doing, they would have never made Sam Bradford their starter. First off.
Well, sure, but like, you have a running back in David Johnson that was gangbusters last year. It was one of the things they leaned on all year, and they just like refused to go with, like
they wouldn't run plays when they couldn't, because he's a good receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah,
and they would not run plays designed to get him out in the open field with a pass. They were running him off the tackles, and that's not what he's good at.
Larry Fitzgerald is one of the greatest all-time receivers, and despite him being aging, he's still probably the best receiver on that team. And they they refused. Sam Bradford would throw to him as a safety valve on third downs, but otherwise they're not like trying to get Larry Fitzgerald going in any of these games.
Who is the coach of the Cardinals now?
I don't know his name. I remember he was the defensive coordinator for the Panthers last year.
Okay.
A guy that I hadn't heard of.
I want to get to this.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots have not looked good this season, guys. I mean, they're still the Patriots, but
that defense is...
You start doing a little reverse engineering, and you go, wait a minute here. They beat a really bad Houston Texans team by 7 at home in their opener.
Yeah, because the Houston has proved itself to not be that good.
And then Jacksonville kicked their asses. Mm-hmm. And then the Detroit Lions, of all teams, kicked their asses last night.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville kicking their ass is okay. But then when Jacksonville turns around and has a soccer match with the Titans.
Oh, my. Could you imagine having to sit through that?
Can we blow up the AFC South? Like...
Yeah, I mean, just set it on fire and let Andrew Luck rebuild out of the ashes.
Well, the Titans are 2-1, right?
Yeah,
but they're not good football games.
But they're 2-1, and they've scored like 17 points all season.
Right. In that game, the Titans started Blaine Gabbert because Marcus Mariota had a hand injury. Then Gabbert got injured, so Mariota with an injured hand had to come in and finish the game, and the Titans won 9-6. What a game! A 3-2 soccer match is essentially what that was. 3 field goals to 2.
That game, I don't know what to make of it, except that I'm glad I didn't watch it because it had to be just like watching paint dry. It had to be god awful. Yeah. 9-6. Give me a fucking break.
But to your original point of the Patriots, they do have a certain bit of out of syncness to them currently. And I don't know exactly what it is, and maybe you chalk the Lions game up to, well, Matt Patricia knew how the offense worked and knew all their secrets and whatever. But I think even beyond that, Tom Brady looked a little off. They went 3-and-out on their first 3 drives for the first time in 12 years or something like that. They just look out of sync. Like, that wasn't the same Patriots team where you say, okay, when they need to get something done, they'll go get it done. They just weren't there. But also credit to the Lions, because, I mean, they looked like garbage especially the first week. They looked a little bit better week 2, and then they looked kind of like the Lions that what you optimistically think of the Lions.
That's why I said week 3 is I have no idea week. Here's what I know about the NFL at this point. The Rams are really good. The Chiefs can score a lot of points. That's it.
Those are the only two teams that we can say with certainty are really damn good right now, are those two teams.
And I'll throw one more thing in again because I still believe it. The Browns have a good defense. The Chiefs can score a lot of points, but their defense is trouble. And the Rams are really good. Those are the three things that I can say with absolute certainty for this NFL season. The rest of it, I have no clue. None.
Can I also say just kind of a general fuck the Broncos? Just, I've got no particular reason to just fuck the Broncos.
I'm down with that anytime. Fuck them all the way back to 1986.
So,
yeah, back to 86 at least. Maybe even further. I'd have to think it through. Bastards.
There are still a few things to touch on, I think, with each of these games.
Okay.
Saints Falcons was awesome.
Yeah.
That overtime game, a lot of offense. Drew Brees pulled out a 6-spin move at one point.
Now, last week I said that I was going to give the Saints another week, and I'm still with the Saints. I think the Saints are good.
I'm actually on both of these teams because the Falcons seem to have figured out their issues. They're 8-8 in the red zone in their last two games. So they've obviously fixed the problem of not scoring when they get inside the 25-yard line, which is
like it would kill them to throw to Julio Jones, really?
Right.
But that's a fantasy football problem that no one but me cares about.
Obviously, the defense needs to be corrected for both these sides, but I don't think they're going to need a whole lot of defense to win the NFC South.
I think both teams can stand to work on their defense a little bit, Saints and the Falcons.
The Falcons also need to work on their spelling lessons. Did you see the tribute to Tom Benson? Mike, did you see that?
No, I didn't.
It's in the thread. The Saints owner Tom Benson died, so the Falcons wanted to put a tribute to him on their board, and they said,
thank you for the
rivalry. It was supposed to be rivalry.
Rivalry.
RRILVARY. Rilvary. Thanks for the Rilvary.
Surprised they got it that close, right?
Packers Redskins. The
Greg, what's going on with your team?
We've talked about it a gazillion times, and now you're seeing the chickens come home to roost, as they say.
This has been a stagnant team that has refused to keep up with the rest of the league, and now, the fucking Redskins are dunking on them.
You've got Aaron Rodgers playing on one leg.
I do not get why he is still out there.
I don't either, because this team's not good. I don't think that
it's Deshaun Kaiser is the...
Yeah, I get that he doesn't want to lose another season, like a full season, but dude, it's so clear that you're not putting any weight on your left leg.
No,
your plant leg.
He's not playing well at all.
How are they letting him do that?
Not only that, but if you watch them, I don't know that they would be any damn good if he was at 100%. They'd be better, obviously, because Aaron Rodgers at 100% is going to improve any team.
Mm-hmm.
But that defense is got issues. Poor Clay Matthews. I don't know what that guy's going to do.
Right. What
the hell is he supposed to do?
Right.
How is he supposed to do his job?
That's the thing I want to get to most.
Well, yeah, we got to save a point somewhere during the show to talk about that stupid rule because it's really messing things up.
Let's do it right now.
Okay.
Because this is garbage.
Yeah.
It is physically impossible for defenders to tackle as the rules have been laid out this season. Or it's not physically impossible, but the referees are doing a terrible job of calling it. Because in this game alone, you have one play where a Redskin just throws Aaron Rodgers into the ground. When I looked at that, I was like, oh, that's roughing the passer, surely. No flag. And Matthews, perfect form tackle on a sack. A sack. He does not hit him above the shoulders. He does not hit him below the legs. He wraps him up, takes him to the ground, rolls off of him as fast as he possibly can, and gets a flat.
It was textbook. It was as textbook as a sack can get in the National Football League. He shot through the line, got the quarterback, wrapped him up, took him down, and there was nothing even remotely illegal about what he did. Last year, they say, what a great play by Clay Matthews. That's the only thing that's said about it. That's it. That's the end of it. We're not even talking about it after that.
In his first 9 seasons in the league, he had 4 combined roughing the passer calls. In 3 weeks in 2018, he has 3 roughing the passer calls.
And each one progressively worse than the one before it.
Yeah.
I think that the first one against the Bears was legit, probably. The second one was questionable. This one was bullshit. Just pure bullshit.
I think the last 2 are both bullshit.
And the second one cost the Packers a game.
Yeah.
They made an interception on that play, and that ends the game, and Minnesota loses. But no, I don't know what you do with this rule. How do you enforce this? Because if a tackle that is that legit is going to get a flag thrown, what are you supposed to do as you're a pass rusher?
As Clay Matthews said after the game, like, I don't know how you tackle without your hands.
Right.
Like, and if you're tackling somebody head on, like you're supposed to, you are landing on him. There's two problems, right? It's one, the defensive players are going in there, and yeah, sure, they're landing on guys, but you're going up against a guy that obviously doesn't want to be tackled. So if you're the NFL and you want to protect these guys, you either have to, I think they either have to do one of two things: either just do the in the grasp rule, like if you're a defensive player, just don't tackle the quarterback, just go hug him.
Yeah,
and
just
say,
hang on to him.
Over. Yeah, or the quarterbacks have to learn how to fall to the ground properly, and have guys kind of roll into the tackle and spin off each other.
Well, this is something that DG now brought up on the boards, and I thought this was an excellent point. We're only a week or two away from quarterbacks figuring out how to take dives on this play.
Yeah.
If you're running around and the coverage is good, why would you not let yourself get sacked in hopes of getting the 15-yard penalty? Kind of like when you just toss it up for grabs on an offsides call.
Well, I mean, it's gotten to the point now where we're going to start seeing soccer dives from NFL quarterbacks.
Yeah, we are.
You could see somebody just kicking out their feet and making sure they land on their back.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think it's a little bit different than a soccer dive because with a soccer dive, they're not actually getting hurt. Whereas, if you do that as a quarterback and you throw your own body onto the ground, you could screw yourself up. But
not only that, but if it's close, if you've got a guy that's close by and you've got nobody open, why not let him grab you? Because 9 times out of 10, they're going to call roughing the passer. You're going to get a 15 yards in a first down. It's just it's a stupid rule. I get what they're trying to do. I understand it. Anything that can make the game safer is a good thing, but this has gotten ridiculous. It's like Mike pointed out, I think in the thread, they got tired of trying to figure out what a catch was, so they moved on to now we got to know what a tackle is or isn't.
Catching a football got too boring, so now we got to...
I think the other thing to take note of, too, if you're the NFL, is, yes, the whole point of this rule, right, is to protect the quarterbacks. But then you see things like what happens to Marcus Mariota, what happens to Jimmy Garoppolo, even Carson Wentz last season. Both of those injuries happened on runs outside of the pocket that the quarterback willingly put himself into. The only way to do this is to make hitting the quarterback a penalty and say, yeah, you can tackle everybody else, but the quarterback's two-hand touch. Otherwise, you're going to have this problem.
Two-hand touch would make it a lot easier because at least that way Clay Matthews runs in, smacks him twice, and that's that. It's done. I mean, think about it for a second. You're in the middle of a football game in the National Football League where they don't play it any faster at any level. So everything's going at 100 miles an hour. You've got your sights set on the quarterback. You've got him clean, and now you're supposed to stop, think about how you're going to hit him, how to land, and everything else. That's just impossible. You're asking these guys to either defy physics or do things that they can't do. It's absurd, and something's got to be done.
The other thing that happened on Sunday was you had a Dolphins defensive tackle goes and sacks Derek Carr. And in an attempt to roll away and make sure that he didn't put his body weight on him, tears his ACL.
Yeah, right. And now he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the NFL doesn't care about some random Dolphin defensive lineman. They'd rather Derek Carr not get hurt. Not that it matters to the Raiders whether Derek Carr's healthier or not. But it's ridiculous. We all understand why they're doing this because they don't want the same things to happen to Aaron Rodgers. It seems like it's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers again, and why is he still playing?
Yeah, it's a ticking time bomb at this point.
I get trying to protect the quarterbacks, but they got to figure out a better way to do it because this is changing football at a fundamental level.
Yes,
where it's you can't hit the quarterback.
Right.
Fine. If you don't want people to hit the quarterback, just say you can't hit the quarterback. Don't do these half measures because it's not making anything easier for anybody.
No, and you're costing teams games. You cost a guy a season. It's just ridiculous.
Carson Wentz made his re-debut.
I'm not too sold on the Eagles at this point in the season. I got to be honest.
You know what, though? For Carson Wentz's first game, I think the thing that the Eagles fans are going to take out of that is he looked extremely mobile, that he wasn't hampered at all by coming back off injury. He looked confident, looked like his old self again. And yeah, they didn't blow out the Colts or anything, but if this was a week 1 game, I think they'd be okay. And it's week 1 essentially for Carson Wentz. So
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're going to be a juggernaut like they were last year.
I mean, someone has got to win that division, and it's got to be the Eagles because
it ain't going to be anybody else.
Yeah.
You guys aren't sold on the Washington Redskins after that big win yesterday?
Oh, no.
You know, no.
No, not Alex Smith and his eyebrows that are 5 inches apart from each other. I don't know. I just saw him in a post-game press conference yesterday, and I was amazed at how I never noticed how far his eyebrows are from the other ones.
Anyway. All I got out of that game was that the Redskins are what they usually are, which is you don't know what they're going to be from week to week, and the Packers are not a good football team. Simple as that. Aaron Rodgers on one leg. He's going to get the hit at some point. That's going to take him out for the rest of the season. So now it's just a matter of when it happens.
Well, if everybody's too afraid to tackle the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That might help him along the way, but he's not right anyway. No. I mean, he was missing throws that he normally hits yesterday.
Well, there's your Steelers.
Come on.
The thing you need to know about the Colts is that Andrew Luck was the leading rusher with 33 yards.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you need to know, too, is that Jack-O-Lantern Brissett came in to throw the Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Yeah. Somebody noticed that, like, since Luck had come back, the farthest he had thrown a ball was, like, on average, was, like, 42 yards.
Right.
And so they said, okay, Hail Mary, it's 60 yards, so let's throw Jacoby Brissett in because Andrew Luck apparently can't throw Hail Marys anymore, which is odd.
That means that his arm is hurt in some fashion, I would think. Pittsburgh just missed the extra point.
Oh, God.
Put it off the upright.
We talked about the Bills and Vikings. The Raiders are 0-3, guys. Let's relish in that for a second.
John Gruden, baby.
Just lose them all, baby.
It never fucking works. This never works. And I don't even particularly think Gruden cares. One, he's coaching football, which I think is all he wants. And two, he's getting paid $100 million. So
yep.
I don't even think he's all that upset.
I just kind of wish they weren't 0-3 at home next week with my Browns coming to town. But what are you going to do? If the Browns are going to be a legitimately competitive team, they've got to be able to play this game and maybe win it. But yeah, the Raiders are 0-3, and is anybody surprised? I am
I'm
exponentially more surprised that the Dolphins are 3-0 than I am that the Raiders are 0-3.
1972.
Yeah, here we go.
I guess I am surprised they're 3-0, but again, as we look back at their schedule, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
They're 3-0, but they played.
But don't they have a really easy schedule too, where they could realistically end up 10-6 without too much trouble?
I forget what their over/under was, but I mean they're first in the AFC East right now.
Their over/under was 6.5, I think, to start the season.
Well, they're on their way.
Yeah, they're halfway home already.
Well, okay, so we'll know what the Dolphins are exactly next week when they play at the Patriots.
I have a theory on the Patriots. I think that remember that article that came out last year about the internal problems that Belichick and Brady were having?
Yeah,
I think there's a lot more there than meets the eye, and I'm telling you that we are witnessing the beginning of the end. Now, I might look like a complete idiot come week 13 and the Patriots have reeled off 11 in a row or whatever, but right now, I'm not saying it's the end. I'm not saying that this is the season they're going to fall apart, but we are seeing the beginning of the end because, and I guess this guy Ian O'Connor wrote a book too about Belichick, and there's a lot of inside stuff that the team was not at all happy when Belichick pulled that move last year with Malcolm Butler and sat him down to start the Super Bowl. He didn't even bother to tell them he was doing that. But there's some internal issues going on there, and I think we're starting to see it manifest on the field a little bit with the Patriots.
The Patriots have had slow starts before. I want to believe it just as much as you do, that this is the beginning of the end, and I think that might be true. But at the same point, as much as Bill Belichick is a jerk, and watching his press conference yesterday was hammering nails under my fingernails, somebody asked him, like, are you concerned, early in the season, and you're 1-2, trying to catch up to teams now and all that sort of stuff. And he literally laughed it off and said, nobody clinched a playoff spot today, as far as I know.
That whole Garoppolo thing pissed him off so much. And he wants a different quarterback. There was talk, Brady was talking, he was actually considering retiring, but instead of coming back to play for Belichick this year. That's how big of a divide there was between these two.
I think all that's talk.
It wouldn't surprise me a bit if he's not quite as engaged as he normally is, or if he's coaching with some kind of a chip on his shoulder. whereas he's got, I want things to go this way. Fuck Brady. I don't care what he says. This is the way we're doing it, and that's the way it's going to be. And that could end up making their season implode. That's what I'm saying.
If I'm Bill Belichick, if I'm feeling that way, if I'm feeling that disgruntled, I'm just leaving. I'm just saying, you know what? I've got nothing left to prove. I'm retiring.
Yeah, I would say I don't have to deal with this shit and leave. And he would do like.
I'm not saying it. You guys are no fun at all. No fun at all. Try to get a good conspiracy theory going here, and all of a sudden you two turn it into a couple of chows that are big Patriots fans. All I'm saying is that
okay, Alex Jones.
There's a lot of smoke out there for you guys to claim there's no fire. That's all I'm saying. There are internal issues on that team that are causing problems. They're starting to rear their head a little bit, and we're starting to see it on the field. That's all. I'm the guy that predicted the Houston Texans would go to the Super Bowl, so I know what I'm talking about here.
When we're dealing with the 0-16 Houston Texans and the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, then we'll all have a talk with Greg at the end of the year.
But I also nailed the Browns prediction, so there's that.
I tell you, it scares me every time I see it now.
I told Mike I have a perfect description. We're going to talk about Gritty, the new mascot for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yuppie's meth-addled cousin, I guess.
Well, my first thought when I saw him was,
Billy.
If I was on acid, this is what Lanny McDonald would look like to me.
Somebody said it was Scott Hartnell and the Philly Fanatic having a baby.
Okay, that's a good one too. Who saw this and said, this is a good idea?
Well, funnily enough, so this is developed, the Flyers worked with Raymond Entertainment, the company created by Dave Raymond, the original Philly Fanatic. This was the mascot they came up with.
Like, this just makes me appreciate the simplicity of Carlton the Bear, the Toronto Maple Leafs, because, Carlton doesn't fuck around.
He's just a bear.
He's just a nice polar bear. That's all he needs to be.
Yeah, this thing would scare a 3-year-old half to death.
The thing that I can't get over is the eyes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just his stare.
I'm sticking with Lanny McDonald on acid. That's what I think it is to me.
Somebody said the Dodgers traded Justin Turner. Flyers.
Oh God,
that's pretty good too. Yeah, it just so as always with these things, God, on the mothership page, somebody edited it into where Jack Nicholson's face is in The Shining. The Penguins, I think, had the best response actually. Just a whole okay. Yeah. To which the Flyers responded creepily with like, no, it was Gritty's account said, "Keep one eye open tonight, Bird," and like this creepy gif of him turning his head to like look at the camera.
Yeah, that's what you want out of your mascot, is you want people thinking things like that.
The mascot's gonna murder you in your sleep.
Right.
Yeah,
so, I'm already thinking that. Now you're just kind of confirming that thought, basically.
With these weird things, the Flyers, of course, have a bio on their website of Gritty. So I've already discovered his bio. He is Yuppie's meth-addled cousin from Philly.
Right.
There you go.
Here is his official story. His father was a quote-unquote bully, so naturally he has some of those tendencies. Talented, but feisty, a fierce competitor, known for his agility, given his size. He's loyal but mischievous, the ultimate Flyers fan who loves orange and black, but is unwelcoming to anyone who opposes his team. Legend has it he earned the name Gritty for possessing an attitude so similar to the team he follows. He claims he's been around for a lot longer than we know it, and recent construction at the Wells Fargo Center disturbed his secret hideout, forcing him to show his face publicly for the first time. That does look like someone that's lived under the bleachers of an arena until being forced out by construction. Definitely. That checked out.
But right now, you're basically giving me a pitch for a horror movie.
He has some.
It sounds like a less romantic, more disturbing version of the Phantom of the Opera. Honestly. Like, he lives under the opera house, but like instead of being a secret like musical genius, it's this thing.
He has some oddities that are both humorous and strange. A number of times he's been caught eating snow straight from the Zamboni machine.
Of course he has been.
And unbeknown to most, his love of hot dogs has been inflating the Flyers' dollar dog night consumption totals for years. That being said, there's no denying he's one of our own.
So nobody ever saw this guy eating just hot dog. No. Okay.
No, he just lived in the bowels of the Wells Fargo Center, in the shadows, unseen by human eyes, until he was disturbed by a rogue jackhammer.
Like, I don't doubt that things like this exist living underneath Philadelphia. That seems about right. But God,
if you said, "Hey, what would a Philadelphia sewer creature look like?" Yeah, there you go. Ready, number 00 in your hearts. Number 00 in your program.
Which also means, by the way, that if he's 00, his stats cannot be collected by the NHL because their computer systems can't handle that. But
he would just be too good, obviously.
Oh yeah. This is just. I think this tops the Bobcat that the Oilers.
Is this creepier than the baby cake thing?
Yeah. I mean, it's in the conversation.
It's in the conversation. I don't think it's creepier, but it's in the conversation, definitely.
Baby cake is a little bit more worse because of the realism.
Right.
Whereas this is just an absurdist monster.
I just love how in this climate that you come out and say, yes, he was born of a bully. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I get the Broad Street bullies. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, okay. That's a reference to that. I understand. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I get that, but I also agree that like probably not something that you. Yeah, he's a bully and he is unwelcoming to anyone who opposes the Flyers. Like, really? So, like, if I'm a Ranger fan, am I going to get murdered in my sleep?
From the sounds of it, yeah.
Sleep with one eye open if you're a Rangers fan.
From the sounds of it, he's already got a threat out there to the Penguins.
Yeah, I mean,
and that was just over a tweet.
So if the first Penguins Flyers game doesn't have Gritty skating to center ice with just Iceberg's head, the Penguins mascot,
it's got to.
Just, I've killed him.
It's got to be severed.
No, Gritty, that's not what we meant.
It's got to be severed with like fake blood, like that.
Like that Kathy Griffin Trump head that she had in the picture. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, this thing's pretty spooky looking. I'm serious. When my nephew was 3, this thing would have scared the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Especially if
again, that's the thing. It's supposed to be the mascots are for children.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of me as a child. Like, I would not want to deal with that thing.
Dude, he's spooking the shit out of us now.
Yeah.
Imagine if we were kids. He doesn't look
like Youppi looks similar, but Youppi's kind of got like a friendly face.
Yeah.
This guy, again, it's
Youppi. Okay, Youppi's got a friendly, face, and he doesn't have crazy eyes.
Yeah,
that's like Mike said. This is Youppi's meth-addled cousin. And
Youppi doesn't have a bio that says he's a sewer monster who threatens death upon other fans. Like,
yeah.
This is just the fucking Flyers. Is everything okay, Philadelphia? Like, why?
I don't know. Youppi's got the Lanny McDonald thing going on pretty good too, right?
Mike, do you remember the Flyers, like a mascot that they had a concept for it, but never actually used him? He was like an aviator with a giant chin.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like there was actual they made a costume for like a Flyer, like an aviator with broad shoulders and a big butt chin and the goggles and that sort of look, which makes sense and is like that's a Flyer, sure. But this thing, it's weird when legacy teams like the Flyers just introduce a new mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
they've never needed one.
No.
Oh, I'm sure the Philly fans are going to treat this thing with all the respect in the world. You think he'll make it through the season?
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to dredge this up again because the Ducks learned their lesson, and so they shouldn't be punished for this. But like, there was the fucking Iceman, and they dumped him after like an intermission. So
he was a weird addition that they didn't need. They had because they also had Wild Wing from day one too, and I think he's one of the better mascots in the league. He's an embodiment of the original logo. He's a duck. Does the job.
Yeah, but
he's not a nightmare creature. Like,
but I mean, like the point is though, like, I mean, they're like, all right, this Iceman thing's not working. We're gonna cancel that. But like,
Greg, why? No.
I found it. It's look at the chat.
What is the? Oh,
it's a side by side of. Bobcat and...
I feel like unnerved every time I see those eyes.
I think you know what though. I think if I had to pick between the two, I think the Bobcat would take him. Don't you? Just because the Bobcat looks more sane.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with. I can't look at his eyes. I cannot look at that thing's eyes.
The thing about the cat, right, is that the Bobcat looks fierce enough, but like at the same time. Like Gritty looks like if he's cornered, he will pull like a pen out of his rectum and just stab police to death, to death. Like that's the feeling I get with Gritty, that he's just unhinged.
Yeah, unhinged is a good description. Unhinged. With this little black helmet on.
Right, like. To go back to what Zach said, like, the Flyers have never had a mascot. They've never needed a mascot. Like why?
Have you ever seen, you know what this reminds me of? It's not, this one's way creepier, but the Yankees mascot they tried to, like, invent in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, that.
What's his name? Like, Yankee Doodle Dandy or something like that? It was Dandy. Do you know what I'm talking about, Greg?
I remember something to that effect, yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yes, the Yankees mascot, Dandy. Oh, God. This thing doesn't look great either. This is a copy link. Here's Dandy. If it would paste. Nope, that's not it.
We should have, in the glorious tournament of victory, we should set up a bracket for the mascots. Like, wow, that's a big link. Is that going to turn into anything, or do we need to click on that?
Hold on.
I got Dandy here.
There we go.
Yeah, I remember that. That's just some broke-ass looking shit right there, Dandy. I mean, at least it looks like they put a little money into Gritty.
I mean, but was it money well spent?
But the idea is that, like, why, if you're these legacy teams, do you just get these amorphous creatures? Like, is it? I think with the Yankees and I think with the Flyers, because the Yankees, same sport and proximity to Philadelphia, and the Flyers being in Philadelphia, they just say, oh, well, people love the Philly Fanatic, and it's just a weird green tube face monster. And it's like, yeah, but I'm sure when he was first unveiled, he was a monster too, but he's become beloved as something uniquely them. You can't just drop this on us like...
He was a response to the San Diego Chicken, the Philly Fanatic. That's basically what he was, because the San Diego Chicken was just enjoying unprecedented popularity for a mascot. I mean, that thing used to go around and make appearances at other ballparks. I'm dead serious, that San Diego Chicken. I went and saw him when he came to Toledo, and I was like, what a ripoff this is. I mean, I would have gone to the game either way, but... He just, but that's what the Philly Fanatic was born of, was San Diego Chicken Mania, basically. That's why he turned up.
Do the Indians still have that weird pink
slider?
thing?
Yeah. I don't know if they still use him or not, but it's funny you bring him up because Jim Donovan, who does the Browns play-by-play, also does a show on Mondays. And right before we signed on, he was talking about it, and he said, this thing looks like a cross between Slider and I forget what the other one was that he brought up. And it was a good description. So Slider's still there. Yeah.
Well, like that's a weird pink creature for the Indians.
Yeah.
Yuppie was the Expos thing forever. The Rays Raymond thing. Like, I'm sure you've seen that, Mike.
Yeah, which is just odd because like the Rays are named after an actual animal. You'd think just get like you could do a manta ray mascot, I'm sure.
I just saw a picture of Cake Baby again. Oh God.
Yeah, that thing's always going to win the creepiest, right?
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. And then, like, I mean, but you have some other things, like the Mets just have a baseball, or the
well, like
Rockies
Mr.
have a
Met is
dinosaur
cool,
or whatever. And like, you have like either real animals or something that's okay, but like, why do teams feel the need to keep being drawn back to these weird fuzz creatures? Like,
I don't know.
Like the Fanatic, like Gritty, like.
I'm going to send you a picture of the greatest mascot of all time, the San Francisco Crab.
I've seen him.
San Francisco.
He was designed specifically so that people would hate him. That was the goal. That's what they wanted, a mascot that everybody hated and threw things at and all that stuff.
It looks like he's in constant pain.
And I don't know if it worked. I guess it probably did to some point, but what, like my group of friends at that age were like, well, that's the coolest thing going is the crab because he's so bad, you know, it's not like the Fanatic or the chicken or whatever. But I think the crab only lasted a couple seasons. But he doesn't look nearly as weird as he used to now because of what I've got to compare him to.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
and the Giants have switched to Lou Seal. He's just a seal, and his name is Lou.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah. But yeah, Gritty. Jesus.
Yeah, way to go, Flyers.
It's not something I'm going to be able to.
I will never complain about. I will never complain about the Flyers screwing up. Whatever. That's the more they can do it, the better I like it.
To me though, that bio.
It's like, yeah, our mascot is a creature from under our arena. Like, really? That's what you want to go with?
A sociopathic creature from under our arena. He sent out one tweet so far, which he threatened to kill someone.
I mean, in many ways, I suppose that's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, yeah, our mascot's a sociopath who has just already outright threatened a rival team with murder.
We got anything else?
I do want to say one thing baseball related.
Oh, yeah. So do I, actually. Speaking of fuck everybody back to the Stone Age, fuck the Boston Red Sox back to the Stone Age because we took 2 out of 3 over their asses this weekend. So fuck them too. All right, go ahead.
Well, it's kind of like a eulogy of sorts.
Fuck you all the way back to the Babe Ruth trade, Boston. What do you think of that?
The Arizona Diamondbacks, the team that was in first place at the end of May, or at the 1st of May, 1st of June, 1st of July, 1st of August, 1st of September. They were in first place. The first of every month of the baseball season have been eliminated from the playoffs with a week to go. Baseball is cruel in that way.
It really kind of is.
You can be one of the best teams in the league for 5-6 months, but it can all go for nothing.
Got to be able to close, man. Simple as that.
And they just got the bad luck of being in the division with 3 good teams.
Yeah.
You know, the Rockies continue to be right there. The Dodgers.
Why am I getting the 2017 season? Oh, my God.
Giving you last year's standings?
Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, now the Dodgers are back in first. It was Colorado a couple days ago.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers swept the Rockies.
Wow, Arizona must have really hit some hard times because they're only 2 games over 500 at this point.
This is what they get for their stupid uniforms.
Well, yeah, they're 2-8 in their last 10. So,
you know what? You wear your stupid uniforms is what you get. This is just fucking karma.
Look at the Brewers. I mean, giving the Cubs a run for their money, 2.5 back, but I've watched these two play, and the Milwaukee Brewers, as good as they might be, are not as good as the Cubs. And it's as simple as that.
Well, it looks like Milwaukee and St. Louis for the wild card game, so that'll be.
Oh, I'd rather see Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado's a game and a half behind the fighting.
Yeah, we still got, about 2 weeks left, a week and a half, thereabouts?
A week?
A week?
A week?
I know my Indians have already clinched. They're in.
Season ends like next week.
Oh, yeah, I guess it does, doesn't it?
ESPN was saying that the wild card game is next Tuesday.
Damn, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the last week of the Major League Baseball season.
Well, then I would say that the Milwaukee Brewers have some work to do. They play each other. But I think if they get in, we're going to get that one-game playoff.
Oh, and the Cardinals and Brewers are playing each other right now.
Are they?
Fuck!
Yeah.
Oh, thank God for MLB Extra Innings. I can watch that on my iPad while I got the football game on.
Fucking Cardinals.
But I just want to say that, I was wrong, but I told you the Phillies would be better this year. They made a run at it for a while, but they've kind of fallen off the pace. Look at the Atlanta Braves turn it around after what? Yeah. I mean, that was pretty quick.
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting looking at some of these numbers in the standings. So the Braves win the division they're up right now by 9.5, but they already clinched it.
Yeah.
They have a run differential of plus 101. The Phillies are in second place. They have a run differential of minus 16.
Yeah.
The Nationals are 500, third place, 10 games out of first with a plus 79.
Yeah.
Differential.
Baseball's a weird game.
Yeah.
But at least we don't have to put up with the Nationals hacking it up this year. We don't have to worry about that. That will not happen. That's already.
Yeah.
I got to go back and do a little bit of a deep dig on Arizona because you're right. They were in first place like all season, and now they're 2 games over 500. They must have just fallen apart.
They were. I saw the stat yesterday. They were first place May, June, July, August, and September.
Wow.
First of every single month, and then have been eliminated with a week to go.
They must have really just bottomed out in the month of September because they're just barely over 500 now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
crazy.
Wild. That's crazy. Yeah.
And
the Oakland Athletics. Well, I started watching when they got hot. 94 wins this year.
Yeah. They're gonna, in all likelihood, they're gonna host the wild card game.
They'll lose it, but it'll be neat to see them get that far.
Well, it will. The last time the Yankees and A's played each other in the playoffs, right? Wasn't that Jeter flip at the plate?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Or they must have played each other at some point. Other than that,
well, I just
the Yankees have won every time. So
yeah, I mean usually,
but. You get the A's, who I don't think anybody had any expectations for this year. They come out and they win 94 games. That's a really good season.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it.
Be stuck in a playoff.
They've got some good players. Like Chris Davis can hit, man. That guy's good. I mean, a couple others.
In a proper world, it should be the A's being like, oh, you had a great season. Congratulations. You exceeded expectations. Now here's your first round playoff series. But instead, they're probably going to lose in a bullshit one-game playoff. And that's exactly what the one-game playoff is. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. I completely agree.
But the same thing is going to happen to the Yankees. They could win 100 games and lose in one and go home.
No, exactly. I mean, that's the one out of every sport to have a one-game playoff.
This is the dumbest.
Baseball is the dumbest one because
absolutely.
The worst fucking team in the majors can beat the best team in the has a 50-50 shot at being the best team of the majors in a single game.
Yep. Well, I was just going to say the Orioles could beat the Yankees in a one-game playoff, and the Orioles. Well, we were right about this. A couple months ago, we said the Orioles are going to have a tough time reaching that 54 wins. They didn't get there. 45 and 110.
I mean, this is a historically bad, not record break, but still,
it's historically bad. It's going to be up there as one of the worst seasons of all time.
Like this is as close as you can get to 0-16.
I'll give you an example.
There's too many games to go winless in baseball.
Here's a good example of how bad the Baltimore Orioles are. Okay, the Royals are 54 and 102. The Orioles are 12 games behind them. 12 games behind a team with 102 losses. That's how fucking terrible you are.
And say what you will about the Orioles. The Royals. At least they've got that World Series from a few years back to hang on to. What do the Orioles have to comfort them? That one time they lost to Toronto in the playoffs because Buck Showalter left their pitcher in.
They've got the 83 World Series title that they won way back in the day.
The
Blue Jays have more recent success than that.
Yeah, but again, I mean, when it comes to the one-game playoff, it doubly underscores the point that baseball is a cruel game. Like we said with Arizona, you're in first place all year until all of a sudden you're not.
Yeah,
at the worst time to not.
I mean,
or even the Mariners. They had a great season by their standards. They had an incredible improvement. 85-70, 15 games over 500. That's great. You're in contention for a division title in almost every other division.
Yep.
But you're in a division with Houston and Oakland, and you're already eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, because the Mariners, they were the team that it was like them in Houston for the better part of the season. And Oakland caught fire, I'd say, in like mid-July.
Yeah.
Might have been a little bit sooner, where they just went on this crazy tear, and they've been on it ever since. And just knocked Seattle right out of the race. I mean, it was just nothing that the Mariners did. It was just that Oakland got super hot and managed to stay within striking distance of one of the best teams in baseball in the Astros. That's what happened. It's simple as that. So if you're a Mariners fan, you're going, I don't know what the fuck we do. It's, switch divisions. Other than that, we're kind of screwed here. Yeah, it'll be an interesting playoff. I don't like the one game thing a bit, and I don't know. I hope the A's manage to pull it off. But
I mean, do you guys remember the last time that the Cardinals won the World Series, where they snuck into the last seed of the playoffs and then beat Atlanta?
Yep.
Well, now the Cardinals would be sneaking into the last seed in the playoffs, playing Milwaukee.
I mean, and then the Braves lost that game on that bullshit fucking
the infield fly that was like all the way out to left field. Yeah. Well, I can tell you guys, I've watched enough baseball this year to tell you that I don't think the Cardinals have enough horses to do that this year. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think that...
No, you're wrong. Quadruple Jesus will hit a grand slam in extra innings.
Well, let's not forget about, Old School Matt, or what's his name?
Vintage Doug.
Vintage Doug.
Vintage Doug and Rookie Doug.
Don't. Hey, coming off the bench, he could be a big impact. Look out for September call-up Keith. He's going to be really good. He's going to make an impact off the bench.
And then all of their fans in the jorts will stand up and go clap because it's baseball the right way.
September call up Keith. That's the fucking greatest. Oh my God.
And all the Bosnians will rejoice.
Oh man.
I'm proud of that one.
You should be. I'm fucking crying. I'm laughing so hard at it. All right.
A new addition to the roster.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's Vintage Doug's replacement. Vintage Doug couldn't go a full season,
I thought Vintage Doug was the best one I'd heard so far until fucking September call up Keith. I'm like, that's beautiful, man. Oh my God. Anyway,
the biggest fuck you moment I've ever seen out of Cardinals fans was on the Jeter retirement tour.
Oh,
classy enough to be a Cardinal.
It's like, fuck off.
Fuck them all the way back to, I don't know. They've never had anything bad happen to them, but when it happens, fuck them all the way back to that.
Hey, Mark McGwire, huh? Baseball the right way, right?
They almost got kicked out of town for the St. Louis Browns, right?
Right, yeah, they did.
September call of Keith. God damn it. On that note, let's call it a night before I break out laughing again. Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via iTunes, Citrus, Spreaker, and YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook. And watch baseball so we can watch September call up Keith get the sounds done for the St. Louis Cardinals.
September call up Keith with a grand slam and extra innings to win the Cardinals the World Series.
And Vintage Doug and other Doug.
Vintage Doug and Rookie Doug.
Other Doug too. Don't forget about him.
And then all of the Mats and quadruple Jesus.
Right. Exactly.
And the Bosnians will golf clap.
Right. This is all what makes baseball the greatest sport of them all, folks.
Baseball playoffs next week. You know what else starts next week?
Hockey
season next Wednesday.
I'm psyched, guys.
Yeah, we got to get a quick playoff or hockey preview in.
We're gonna have to do playoff preview and hockey season preview.
Fine by me. Because I'm really kind of tired of the NFL making us look like fucking morons. So let's move on to some other sports. All right, anyway, we will do all of that next week, folks. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Later.
Go Rams.
Go
Browns.